Hey there, everybody. What you're looking at here is the Quran. Yeah, the Quran was not written in Arabic. The Quran was written in a QR code. It's older, it's much more complex than what we've been told. So let's get into it. And this is about AI. This is part 2 of the AI video that I was making. It's been a while since part 1 because I lost a USB stick with about 1,000 pictures on it. I've managed to gather a few things together, so bear with me. I'm going to be a little while here before I get to the crunch. All right? So take a look at that there. Cubic code, QR code, like the one on your phone. Much more complex than what they say. Here's another example of it there. Try and translate that. Guess who translated the cubic code into Arabic? None other than the either monks or mercenaries of Emperor or Pope Augustine, whatever you want to call him. Mistranslated into Arabic, may I say. Here's another example of it here. What does it say? I don't know, but it does say something, and whatever it does say, when they translated it into Arabic, it didn't say what it said in the beginning. Now, I don't study the Quran, have never studied the Quran, probably never will study the Quran. But yet this here, what you're looking at, is the QR code, the cubic representation of the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah? And as you can see here, it has the propeller of life in it. Yeah? And you can even buy it in a tile form. It's for sale online. You can see your propeller of life in here, and it is the square Kufic calligraphy for the Prophet Muhammad. Comes in 5 colors and cost you £54.99. So it's out there. They know where the Quran came from. They know what it is, but they still like to sell it to the poor public in this Arabic language, and it's not the same. It has been rewritten by British, French, to make it into something that riled the people up when there was no need to. Now this is in Seville in Spain. It's a church, and they still have the ancient calligraph here up on the top here. They've got the QR code up here. And it says here, what is the Quran? Now, I'll read it out. Photo above. Example of writing system of the Quran in the 15th century. And it is similar to QR and matrix codes. QR matrix codes is an advanced form of data storage. And the photo above is from Seville in Spain. This writing was common in the Old World Order. The Knights Templar spoke this language. They were killed and taken over. And anyone with Arabic Qurans were killed in Europe. And can you see why they removed this writing from buildings in Europe? They didn't want the people to know the truth, reality, yeah? And because Michelle Gibson claimed that Islam stood for I, self, law, am master. And that to me means you don't need a government. And it could say anarchy, yes, but anarchy means no government. No government. And anyone with a Quran or a Bible in their home didn't need law, didn't need government. Anyway, this here is the calligraph, the QR code for Allah. Yeah? And as you can see, in their writing, Allah was mentioned everywhere. Allah, 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 Allah. Yeah? So I've known about this for quite some time, but recently David Ewing Jr. has investigated this here thoroughly and has compiled a huge amount of information on it all, claiming that the Arabic language originated in Europe. So what we have here are some coins, and this here is the Star of David coin, Abbasid, Solomon's seal or whatever. You got the Star of David, and inside it you've got writing in Arabic. This is the language they spoke. Apparently all the Jewish books were written in Arabic. And many of the literatures of Europe, because it was the language, were written in Arabic. And if you were caught with it, they went around and they burnt Europe down. And anything, whether you were a Protestant, a Jew, or an Islam person, you were not going along with the Holy Roman Empire's new plan for the world. But anyway, let's get closer. Now this is a dirham. Tons of them have been found in Russia. This is the most common ancient coin of Russia. Now, I'm not sure on the date on this, but I think it's around 1870. And again, Arabic writing inside. Why? Because Arabic was the language. European language. All of the coins that have been found, most of them in Europe and in the Americas. I'm talking millions of them. Not in Arabia. So sticking with the coins for a moment. The Rus in Arabic sources. Cultural contacts and identity. Blah, 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 blah. Of the total of almost 1,660 hoards containing nearly 500,000 Islamic coins discovered in Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, it says Middle East there, and Central Asia, more than 80% have been found in Europe. So the vast majority are in Europe. There are millions of them in the United States. They don't say that. They say only a few showed up, dropped off by Arab sailors. So here again, Vikings came in search of dirhams. Farhat Hussein holds a silver dirham coin left from 770 AD found in Scandinavia and a gold dinar coin from 920 AD found in Russia. You can freeze that if you want and read what's at the bottom. I want to keep the video short. How do you translate that? Huh? Now again, this is supposed to be the Quran. And what you have here is the cubic code going all around here. You've got Arabic writing in here as well. And probably can't see it here, but you got P2 in here. P2? Now, before we get to the crunch, I want to try and show you how widespread the Arabic language was. And with it, the Islamic way of life, which is still very much alive in Russia. And they are fighting along with the Christians, not with the Christians, but the Christians and the Muslims in Russia at the moment are fighting together to try to save that traditional Islam that exists in Russia. Because even many of the Christians in Russia still live by the Islamic way of life. Now this here is the helmet of Tsar Alexei Mikhailovich in the Moscow Kremlin Museum. This is his helmet. It's all got Arabic writing all over it, and much of it says there is no God but Allah. Yeah, here's another helmet in the Kremlin Museum, Moscow Museum. It's got Arabic writing on it. It looks to me like in a few places that it's got a bit of cubic writing on it as well. I can't really see from here. Basically, before I get to the crunch, what I'm trying to show you here is how widespread the Arabic language was that we're not being told about. It says here, historians have long been tormented by the question of where Quranic inscriptions came from on the helmet of Alexander Nevsky. Rejoice the faithful with the promise of help from Allah and quick victory. Read the sacred lines engraved in gold. The helmet that Alexander Nevsky had become a canon symbol and even adorned the coat of arms of the Russian Empire. It is forged in such a way that arrows cannot pierce it but only slide over it. High tech due to its oval shape. After Alexander Nevsky, it was worn by Tsar Mikhail Romanov and also Ivan the Terrible. And Ivan the Terrible, they say he went around the whole place killing millions of Muslims. What's he doing with there is one God but Allah written on his helmet, if that's the case? I think they've been lying to us. And Prince Ivodor Mstilavsky had helmets with Arabic script, whoever he was. And there it is, the armor of Ivan the Terrible, who they say slaughtered millions of Muslims while he had there is one God but Allah written on his helmet. I don't think so. And here's a statue of King David, King of the Jews. Now, this is said to be the greatest work of art on the face of this earth. So they'd say that about themselves, but it is pretty good. The greatest work of art, the greatest statue ever created of King David, King of the Jews. Let's get a little close-up look at it. So there he is, up close, King David, King of the Jews. What's he doing with Arabic writing on his straps that hold up his trousers? So they probably say there is no God but Allah on them. We got questions. And the answers are, it's the language. The language was predominant. Now, do not confuse the Islamic Quran in QR code with the modern Muslim religion that exists today. Now, here we have the most famous painting ever of the birth of Christ. There he is right in there, little baby Jesus. And there's his mama Mary with a halo around her head and all the other saints all gathering around. Now, they say, I think it's called the Gaia de Gentil. It is said to be the greatest painting ever of the birth of baby Jesus. So when we get up close, what do we see? Here's Mary with her halo. It's in Arabic. And again, most likely, like everything else, there's one God but Allah. So, gosh, I cannot figure it out. The lies are so deep. It's mind-boggling. And who do we have here? Who's this handsome young man? This is St. Louis de Toulouse. And what's he doing with Arabic written on his helmet? On his fish head lampshade thing that he's got in his head, sorry. And again, you look up close, this is what you got. So who were these people? Apparently it's a European language. Araba, Europa. Comes from Europe, spoken all over Europe. All the books were written in Arabic. They spoke it, they wrote in it, they decorated their stuff in it, but they appear to be Christians, don't they? Now here we have the coronation of some pope. Very lavish affair. Look at these guys all standing around here. That must be him in the middle with the lampshade on his head. But we're going to take a little up close in on the garb that he's wearing and what's written on it. So this is what he was wearing. Yeah? Decorated in Arabic. Roger II of Lyon. That's who we're talking about. And that's I think that any resistance to the Holy Roman Empire as it ran across Europe, whether you were Protestant, what they labeled you as Protestant, Islamist or Jew, if you didn't conform to their new way, you got chopped up. And but they spoke Arabic apparently. Now here's a sword in a museum in Germany. And apparently this is the swords that the armies from Germany used. And it's written in Arabic. It's got Arabic writing on it. Again, there is no God but Allah. But here we are in Europe. And you know what in Europe, what we call Germany? We call it Allemande. Allemande. The monde of Allah. Goes back a long way. All you people over there in America, in the great state of Alabama, Alabama is the same, called after this Allah. We're going to get to this in a second. Even the flag of Alabama is very close to the flag of Morocco. So in a museum in Canada, in July, Italian and German swords with Arabic lettering. In July 1999, about a dozen of Italian and German swords from the 13th, 14th century were exhibited in the Royal Ontario Museum, Toronto. Two of them can be seen, I showed you one of them. One cannot help noticing that Italian and German swords are decorated with Arabic lettering, for some reason lacking so much as a single word in either German or Italian, or at least we haven't found it, because those languages weren't around back then. Now, one final thing on this Arabic language before we go any further. This cross was found in Ireland. It's said to be an 8th century cross, found in a village of Ballycotton on the south coast. It's known as a Carolingian cross. And in the middle of it, it's written in Arabic, there is no God but Allah, right? Now, how do we explain this? Unless what I'm saying is correct. Now, there are a lot of high crosses in Ireland, or Celtic crosses as they call them. There isn't one of them with a guy nailed to it. This whole concept of some guy getting nailed to a cross was brought into Ireland after the 1800s. Didn't exist before then. And here's my take, I'm going to say it for the very first time now, on all of these Irish Celtic crosses, which are shaped like this. I reckon they are a depiction or a symbol of the 4 rivers that leave Hyperborea. How do you like them apples? So, in this old cubic Quran, our creator was referred to as the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and end of all. Now, you can't say he's not. Yes, of course, the creator is the beginning and end of all, but that's just a description, an attribute to what the creator is. Yes, there'd be much more, but the beginning and end of everything. So they had their, I don't know, impersonal God, maybe, wrapped up in this this description, Alpha and Omega, beginning and end. And by the way, the first letter and the 9th letter of the Greek alphabet. And because it's the first letter and the 9th letter of the alphabet, they play with this number 19. They've switched the Alpha and the Omega, the creator, into the first number and the 9th number, 19. And we know what happened on 19 4 years ago, the big disease that came out. 1919, the Spanish cough. 1819, you had a cholera epidemic. 1719, you had the so-called Black Death. They love this number 19. If you run through history and you look at Napoleon, everything he did on the 19th. Every time he went somewhere, he had 19 people or 19,000 or 190,000. Every time there was a battle, 19,000 died. 19, 19, 19, 19. They keep using it as a symbol for themselves to replace the Alpha and the Omega. So the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and end of everything, is the creator, so they can use the lettering or the numbering in a symbolic way to make themselves feel great and to show themselves that they're in charge. Now, take a look at this. Here's your Alpha and your Omega, and here is the symbology for Allah. So Allah is an abbreviation of Alpha and Omega, a shortening of the word. Now, I would never refer to our creator as the Alpha and the Omega, so I would never refer to our creator with an abbreviation of that, Allah. It's a description of an abbreviation of an attribute to the creator, but it ain't the creator. It ain't your personal relationship with the creator. It's more like an impersonal relationship with the creator. Nonetheless, this is the only references that they have to creator from the Alpha and the Omega, from the ancient Quran, from the writings. So to become God on this earth, they've taken this and used it for themselves. They use the number 19 for themselves to show that they're in charge. Now, the first letter and the 9th letter of our alphabet currently is A and I. So, when you believe their lies, when you believe anything that comes out of their mouths, when you go along with any of their plans, then you are under AI. Like I said before, AI is not Elon Musk coming along and sticking a chip in your head. AI is them knowing what your next move is going to be because you're a creature of habit and because you believe in all of their lies. So they're assuming God's position in this world. They've taken ancient symbols turn them, twist them, turn them into numbers, turn them into computers, turned them into lies about computers, and turned it into something that everybody in the whole world is scared shitless of. This is cursive, alpha and omega in the cursive language. So basically what we're getting down to here is that they have, you can read that while I'm talking, or freeze it, whatever. But the AI, artificial intelligence, which it isn't, right? Because there isn't a computer in this world that cannot do something that hasn't been programmed to do by a programmer. They don't think for themselves. They will never think for themselves. They will never work for themselves. Yeah, they can spy on us, right? So I have arguments with stupid people, and in the end of the day, I have to tell them that they are under AI and they don't need a chip stuck in them. I had this argument with this guy last night that they know his next move because he believes everything that he's told. But I couldn't get into what I'm trying to tell you what AI is. AI, artificial intelligence. AI, first letter, ninth letter. AI, their warped representation of the alpha and the omega. And they're using the number 19 in history to basically disclose to us that they're lying to us. You have to go back in through, you look into the works of David Ewing Jr., but go anywhere and look for it yourself. You go into Wikipedia and go into the history of Napoleon and the history of many, many other events that this cabal have put together in the past 200 years, and it's all using their version of numbers, AI. So I'm going to end anyway by looking at this really nice Japanese girl. Yes, Japanese, Ainu. And a lot of Arabic coins have been found in Japan as well. So the story of the version of events that we've been given is that a load of camels came from Africa, ran across Europe with swords in their hands, dropping money everywhere. Yeah, they came from the desert where you haven't got the metalworks or the foundries to make swords and make armory and make money, right? So artificial intelligence is nothing, okay? It is a trick, their version of taking over God's control of the world by just using simple, stupid numerology. It is stupid, right? But they think it'll work. And maybe it works for them. Every time they see their little symbols somewhere, they remind themselves about how great they are and how godlike they are and how what a godlike control that they have over us, with us accepting their letters and numbers as something important. It's all bullshit, right? Just showing you that Allah comes from the ancient cubic Quran. It is an abbreviation of the Alpha and the Omega, which is a description or an attribute to our Creator. It doesn't work for me. Does it work for you? There's a lot more in. I could have spent 3 months on this video because I'm trying to abbreviate as much as I can into a very short 24 now minutes, and maybe go another minute, 25-minute video. But yet the information that's out there that can verify what I'm saying is vast, and it will take some time to investigate it and go through it, and we all don't have the time. But don't be afraid of AI. Elon Musk ain't gonna come along and stick a chip in your ass. No, he ain't. But all those people out there who are creatures of habit that show the system what their next move is going to be, this is AI. It's working. Believing their lies, believing the historical lies, geographical lies, scientific lies, living in a fucking illusion of a bubble, then they have you. and you are under AI, but not you, my listeners. Yeah, I'm glad I got that video out, part 2. It's been about a month since part 1. I've got some very nice, I've got a UFO from 1895 coming up tomorrow. Love you all. Bye-bye.